Hello everyone and welcome to my review of Robot of Sherwood. Yeah, I'm not particularly keen to review this episode, I have to admit. Well, let's get started on it, shall I? Okay, so the episode felt a lot like it was actually trying to be the Crimson Horror for Series 8, only with Robin Hood. In the sense that it didn't really go much in detail about the villain's plan, it seemed to be more a fun, entertaining episode that you just watch on the box set a lot and skip all the big, complicated or scary ones. But no, it ended up being a bit, well, meh. To be perfectly honest, it's a bit forgettable. I mean, it's the only things you're going to remember it for is Ben Miller's appearance in Doctor Who and Doctor Who meets Robin Hood, which really wasn't used to its full potential. Yeah, sure, you get all the banter and everything, but what was the point in it? I mean, it was great fun while it lasted, but it didn't even seem to go much anywhere. I mean, there was of course the deleted thing that the sheriff was in fact a robot or part robot or whatever, which apparently was mentioned in the episode. I honestly don't remember this, and I was paying attention to the episode. But if I'm honest, I got to the point where I was just like, I lost interest during that final fight. They seemed to be waffling on, and there was a battle, and well, it felt like a cheap version of Pirates of the Caribbean, really. Which is kind of ironic, considering Curse of the Black Spot. Oh well. I have to admit, this score was nice and original, and it's a good thing that Murray Gold has got some fresh pieces of music for the soundtrack this year. But as for everything else, well, I don't know. The story structure was incredibly clunky, and some of the edits felt really unnecessary. It felt like it was meant to be a two-part story, or a story that was going to be extra long. It feels like it should be one of the specials, you know, an hour long to flesh out the story, to do all the great potential it has. But no. I feel like Mark Gatiss wrote a script and then it got edited about so much that it ended up not being quite what he'd written. Some cuts I can understand, I mean, let's be honest here, we all know what happens in the tournament, but it just suddenly appears. You're just suddenly at the end of the tournament, and it's odd. It's really, really odd. Of course, then we have the golden arrow at the end. That was a bit silly. That I have to admit, I thought, oh, okay, I'll let it go. And the more I think about it, the more I think, well, actually, no, that's not okay. That's just plain old. I don't think anyone could believe that, because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So, you know, that's not something I can just let go through, really. Okay, I might be able to forgive it if perhaps the rest of the episode was brilliant. But, I don't know, it just wasn't really that amazing. I mean, sure, there were some great elements, and it's clear that overall this series so far has been a vast improvement over what we've had previously, but in terms of the individual episode itself, the robots felt a bit boring. There wasn't really anything new or fresh to them, and there wasn't even an explanation as to them. Okay, so correct me if I've got this wrong, but I don't remember anything being explained about what the robots were, where they came from and everything. Are they just meant to be like deep breath? I don't get it. Sorry, no, don't get it. So, if I have got something wrong, please do correct me. It's just, I come out of it and I think, well, it didn't really distract me well enough from this. I mean, the Crimson Horror, I understand, you know, you can pick out things there, but the episode was incredibly entertaining. You're completely distracted away from this, and of course there was the whole thing with Marion. She was dead and then she was alive, and I've only watched the episode the once, to be perfectly honest. I'm not massively keen to watch it again. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like, what? At the end, it felt really contrived. Marion has to be alive because, you know, the Doctor's a hero and stuff. So she's just standing there behind the TARDIS, waiting for the TARDIS to dematerialise so she can go, Robin! Or whatever. What else was there? I mean, Ben Miller was great as the Sheriff of Nottingham. Didn't really do much. I was thinking, oh, they're building something here, they're building something, and it just never went anywhere. It just sort of had a climax and ended, really. Of course, we had the Merry Men, which didn't really need to be in the episode much at all. In fact, there's not much in the episode that really shows Robin Hood as being Robin Hood, the person who steals from the rich to give to the poor. A scene showing that would have been great, but no. And then, of course, it's all real. They really are that jolly. These Merry Men really were real, and no, I thought the whole point of the episode was Robin Hood wasn't real. I mean, I was happy for them to have Robin Hood, you know, exists in the Doctor Who universe, and, you know, he does all the Robin Hood things, and he's doing all the Robin Hood things after the episode, but the fact that this is real Robin Hood and he's doing all this felt a bit like, why? I can understand that perhaps it's a bit predictable, but no. And then of course we got the title. So the title, I believe, was meant to be a pun on Robin of Sherwood. So if Robin Hood wasn't a robot, and there was more than one robot, why call it Robot of Sherwood? Why not call it Robots of Sherwood? Or, you know, a better pun? You know, Robot Hood? More people might get that? No? Okay, well, there we go. So, what else was there? Yeah, the Doctor was a bit... I think there was this idea that the Doctor was meant to go on this arc, and I feel like Stephen Moffat said it's Mark Gatiss, and Mark Gatiss didn't really write it in properly. I mean, it just sort of existed, and I understand that you can't always get that across, but then, if that was the Doctor's character arc from the episode, then you've just mucked it up. I didn't think of this beforehand, but I think that's meant to be adding to this Am I a Good Man theme. Yeah. I sound really negative, actually. What can I say? I really liked Robin Hood, the Robin Hood they had, Tom Riley. Did a great job, I have to admit. Great Robin Hood. A lot more of, I suppose, a hero than... I can't remember his name now. Who played Robin Hood in the BBC series a few years ago. I did watch that, but I just can't remember much about it apart from the first and last episode, so obviously that shows something about it. Yeah, Ben Miller was great for when he was around. Clara was great when she was, you know, doing stuff. There was a line about Taekwondo. I don't know whether that's a joke or something, or whether that's Clara suddenly going to start beating up bad guys later on in the series. I don't know. But yeah, I mean... there were some clever moments, and it was definitely funny in places, but... yeah, I mean, there was the spoon bit. I don't know, I quite happily look past it, and I don't really think much about it, but some people have said, lots of people have said, it's not really Peter Capaldi, it's more Matt Smith. And I can see what I mean. I can't see Matt Smith doing that, though. I can see Sylvester McCoy doing that, and maybe David Tennant, but and I think I'm happy for Capaldi to do that, but I understand that people weren't keen on that. I didn't mind it, if I'm honest. But yeah, the episode, it was trying to be all light-hearted and funny, and it didn't really do anything. I don't think it was particularly funny, it wasn't particularly entertaining, it wasn't particularly anything. So yeah, the pre-credit sequence was cool, but, you know, Clara just suddenly comes out with, let's go and meet Robin Hood. You know, according to Deep Breath, she's been travelling with the Doctor for 3 years, and if Robin Hood is a childhood icon, this is the first time she's mentioned it. I mean, it could be there was a line cut where the Doctor says, where she says something like, I've asked you 300 million times or whatever to take me there and you haven't. And yeah, I mean, I find that odd. But yeah, I can forgive these things, but they all begin to pile up. and there's nothing there to outweigh it, really. I mean, yeah, it was a fun, entertaining episode. So much was rushed, so much was just sort of cut down. I mean, like I said, there was, of course, the sheriff is a robot or a cyborg or whatever. Had his head chopped off. Of course, if I don't know whether he's a robot or a cyborg, and I'm a Doctor Who fan and everything, I'm avidly watching these episodes, then clearly someone's mucked up. If I'm honest, I mean, prove me wrong, but I think if I don't understand that, then, and I don't know anyone who really understood it at all, then obviously something's gone wrong here. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like having these great scenes of Robin Hood meets the Doctor, which strung together into an episode doesn't work for me at all. Did it need to be a two-part one? Maybe. I can see it more as a special myself, like a Christmas special or an Easter special or something, but no, we got what we got, and I'm sure some people say, oh, I should be grateful for that. No, I mean, I didn't think it was quite that bad at first, but it's not certainly not bad, it's just... it's just a bit above average, really. So what shall I give the episode? I feel like I might regret this, but I'm going to go with the harsh route this week. And give it a 7 out of 10. It was... You know what? Into the Dalek and Deep Breath, I love those stories. I really enjoyed both of them. Deep Breath I watched something like 4 or 5 times before Into the Dalek came on telly, so... Yeah, Into the Dalek, I still think that's on par. I still got both of those a 9 out of 10, because, you know, I just really enjoy the both of them. This episode, I don't know, I feel it's one of Mark Gatiss's weakest scripts, but I've got no idea exactly what went wrong, and I think it's all to do with timing, basically. It just got messed about too much. Of course, we've got all this thing with the Promised Land. Oh, and the robots. Robots. I was expecting some kind of thing with heaven. I don't know. I feel it. Yeah. Sorry. I'm picking apart this episode, and I know people will say, "Oh, why weren't you picking apart Deep Breath or Into the Dalek?" Well, that's because I can't really. Or I don't really want to, because I enjoyed the story so much that I wasn't really thinking about it. Yeah, it's not a bad story. When I give it a 7 out of 10, it seems bad when I give the previous 2 stories a 9, but yeah, I just yeah, I gave I think I gave Attack of the Cybermen a 7. Yeah, I'd probably put that on par with Attack of the Cybermen, really. It's certainly not bad. I know I gave Time of the Doctor a 6, and I didn't like that one. The thing was, I liked over half of it, hence 6 out of 10, but yeah. So thank you for watching. What did you think of Robot of Sherwood? I hope you liked it more than I did. Do you think a 7 out of 10 is too harsh, or do you think I should go for an 8? Do let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week for Listen.